Good morning. Good morning, Unity of Bremerton.
Hey.
Good morning.
So good to see you. We're going to get started. If you feel like standing and dancing, you can. You're not drinking coffee, or she can have it. Oh, you sound so good this morning. So I looked at the topic and I got so excited. I was telling Larry, your speaker, that my favorite part of every service in any place in the world is the message. Oh, because you get some real juice, something to keep you going. Yep. So let's do everything that I need to know about what lies before me is what? Available to who? Me. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me. Through the mind of God in me. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me. Through the mind of God within me. Everything that I need to release about what lies before me. Everything that I need to release about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything that I need to trust about what lies before me. Everything that I need to trust about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything that I need to keep about what lies before me. Everything that I need to keep about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me in the mind of God in me. Everything that I need to love about what lies before me. Everything that I need, you sound so good, to love about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me in the mind of God within me. In the mind of God within me. In the mind of God within me. Amen. Amen.
Wonderful. And welcome everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have our wonderful, wonderful musicians today, Mercedes Nicole and Craig Hoyer. Welcome. Our guest speaker, Larry Davis with Carmel Pennington. Our board member of the week is Miss Nora. You got them all awake. Thank you. All right. A chaplain today is our very own Marilyn. Yeah. Our youth ed champion is Joyce. We have our hospitality, Mary Ellen and Laura and Ann.
Thank you.
And our spick and span angels, everybody. And our technology director, Mr. Mark Swing. And I'm your platform host today, Cindy Swing. Alrighty, so yay. We want to thank everybody for being here. Is there anybody here for the first time? Looks like we have all returnees. Wonderful. All right, well, let's go into our heart song.
Oh my goodness, the spirit is so wonderful right now. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Oh, don't you love this song? These are not my hands. You know, because whose hands are they? Oh yeah, so let's sing that one.
One, two, three.
These are not my hands. These are not my hands, but the hands of God. The hands of God. Let's do it again. your love.
Wonderful, thank you. Feel that blood pumping and flowing? Yes, sun is shining, it's all good. All right, we have our Red Heart welcome. And for those of you who are here for the first time, reviewing this for the first time, if you're new to today at Unity of Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. We want you to know, no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcomed here. We know that the world is a better place when we are willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit. I forgot to show it. Here it is. Here's the heart. That shows, there you go. Visual cue. As a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lives within each of us. And we ask you to carry this symbol as a member of this Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you and to share your heart wherever you go. The Red Heart, as a symbol of fellowship in the world, can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. And for those who are first time here or first time viewing, please check in with us at least a couple more times. We have guest speakers each week, and you just never know what we might be up to. But it's all good, and it's all love. All right, so in your bulletin, you'll see our happenings. September is a busy month. We're winding down summer, easing into fall, but we are doing it full bore here with all kinds of good stuff. Next Saturday, September 8th, is the Minette Fest and our yard sale at Joe's house. So if you have items that you want to donate for us to sell, if you'd like to come and bring some items to sell, please see Joe. He is here today. And enjoy the Minette Fest. They have all kinds of activities, a 5K run, the tiniest parade. I think they even hand out kazoos, so you know, might worth it to show up just for a kazoo. September 9th, we have Gail Gray and Carol Glenn. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. September 13th is the 25th Annual Unity World Day of Prayer. There's some flyers out there. The board member of the week will discuss that a little bit more. September 16th, we have Reverend Sherry Schultz with Michael Gregory. September 17th, Millie is putting on a workshop called Heal Thyself. There's some flyers out there, and if you're interested in that, it is a free workshop. And that's in the evening of Monday, September 17th. Wednesday night, September 19th, we have a Peninsula Photo Club meeting. So no matter what you take pictures with, whether it be a phone or a high-end digital camera, or you're just interested, join us. We talk about stuff, we watch some videos. We're hoping to get some actual going out and shooting pictures and discussing the process. So if you're interested, please join us. And September 22nd, Family Fun Night. We busted out the bunco last month, and we had a good time. Yep, but we need more people. The more people, the more fun. Bunco can just be crazy. We didn't get to use the bell, so you know, if you get a few more people, we might have some bell action going. So it was a lot of fun. You know, I won't go there. Thursday nights we have A Course in Miracles from 7 to 8 p.m. and yes, Ben books are available, and whether you know anything or you're a little curious about that, please join the group. They're a wonderful group, and they'll share their information with you. Fun. And they have fun too. So yeah, that's all good. So now we'll do the Board Member of the Week report.
Tall people. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Nicole, that last song gave me the chills. I had to put a sweater on. I just love it. I can't wait to feel strong enough to just dance like I used to. Like nobody's watching.
There you go. Yep.
So we want to remind you that we are live streaming our service, so we ask you to keep your phones off or on vibrate, and so that they're not ringing in the middle of service or somebody you think God's calling. I remember that when Max was our minister and he gave a talk, and it was called the Call, and he paused just ever so slightly, and my phone rang. I'll never forget it. So we want to also remind you that there are prayer forms in the backs of the chairs, and so that if you have prayer requests, you can fill them out and either put them in with the offering or in our prayer box, and they will be prayed on here and then sent off to Silent Unity to be prayed on for another 30 days. And Unity of North Kitsap has a weekly meditation on Thursday, September 6th at 7 p.m., a drumming circle meditation gathering, prayer and meditation around one large community drum. We are blessed to have Walter Mahler lead us in the sacred ritual. Everything is provided, so all you need to do is show up. Everyone is welcome. Meditations are held in the Fellowship Hall at Faith Episcopal Church in Paulsville. And as Cindy said, that's separate. Our craft fair and bazaar is set for Saturday, November 17th. For those that have signed up, please start thinking about what you might want to share or start creating the items you want to sell. If you haven't already signed up, please do so on the sign-up sheet in the fellowship area. And please stop by that table because there's always something to read there and sign up for. And like Cindy said, the Manette Fest is coming up on Saturday in Joe's Yard with the Joe's Yard is going to be there. So
Does it say Joe's Yard?
well, it's going to expand beyond Joe's Yard. Joe's Yard is just going to be available for yard yard sale.
Oh, here's Joe.
Yeah.
Look for you.
On September 13th is the 25th Annual Unity Day of Prayer, and we've posted the event on our Facebook page, and there are flyers in the fellowship area with more information. And the board met last Sunday and decided the date for this year's annual congregational meeting will be Sunday, October 21st. Members will receive a postcard in the mail prior to the meeting, and more information will be provided as the date gets closer. And as always, if you have any suggestions or questions or ideas, run them by a board member. And if you don't know who the board members are, then ask. Thank you.
Short people. I had to, right? I had to. Oh, well, like my mom said, my mom was 4'11", my dad was 6'4", so who knows what they were thinking. My mom always said the good things come in small packages, so does dynamite. All right. That's my mother, so it explains a lot, doesn't it? All right, so we're going to light the Christ candle. This candle represents the divine light within each of us. Okay, let's read our mission statement together. We are a welcoming community, supporting our mutual quest for spiritual truth. And our invocation, statement of faith. There is one presence and one power, active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And now time for one of our favorite little times, handshakes and hugs. Please be aware some of us are hurting and you may not know it, so just be gentle. And if you're not a huggy person, throw out that hand because we are a huggy bunch.
Huggy bunch. That's a great I hope you do. All righty. Hello. Carolyn, hi. Look how pretty.
Michelle was next in line. It's me.
Good morning. How are you? Oh yeah. Hi Candace. You got this cat There's nothing on it. No, I'm going through one of those phases where you're getting a picture, okay?
No discomfort if we have it.
You look so like a
Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Probably just
Stand if you're able. I woke up this morning with my mind stable, stable. I woke up this morning with my mind stable, stable, spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stable, stable, spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. You can't hate your neighbor, you can't hate your neighbor, but your mind stable, stable, spirit. You can't hate your neighbor, but your mind stable, stable, spirit. You can't hate your neighbor, but your mind stable, spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You're walking and talking. You're walking and talking. Your mind stable, stable, spirit. What are you doing? Walking and talking. My mind stable, stable, spirit. Walking and talking. Walking and talking. My mind stable, stable, spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 I gotta hear it one more time. It sounds so good. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Can't keep your toes quiet with all that good stuff, or your hands, or anything, any other body part. Today's daily word is faith. I express my faith with every choice I make today. My every choice, no matter how small, expresses my faith in something at that time. Those moment-by-moment choices create my life experience, so it would be impossible to live without faith. The great news is that I can change my focus whenever I choose. I am not a victim of the events and challenges in my life. Amen. When I pause for a moment to remember the truth of infinite love, I am at peace. And think of the power in I am. I take time today to observe the life I am living. It is a perfect expression of the faith I am holy. Faith allows me to see peace in the midst of conflict, to find abundance where once there seemed lack, and to love all others rather than judge. From James 1, verse 6. But ask in faith, never doubting. For the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. Today I express my faith with every choice I make today. God bless us.
Every time I come here, I think I get multiple sermons. From the music to Maryland and the daily word, just multiple sermons. It's so wonderful. So as we get prepared, we're going to do for meditation, pour yourself in me. And so we'll get it started. Those of you who know it, you can sing. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your joy. Pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your joy. Pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful, wonderful Spirit. Pour your strength. Pour your strength in me. Pour your strength into my heart. Whoa, wonderful, wonderful Spirit. Pour your strength. Pour your strength in me. Pour your strength into my heart. Whoa, wonderful, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful, wonderful Spirit. Thank you so much. So looking at this is a lesson we all have to remind ourselves. Looking at our difficulties and challenges and heartache and pain, we have to make a conscious effort to change that, right? And Pastor Jones is going to talk about the sugar of it all, changing that lemonade into something. And I went to West Africa because I had not seen my mother-in-law for 25 years, and she passed away. And it was our prayer that that would not happen till we got back. So a very painful, painful journey all the way around the world. But we decided to put some sugar in there, let God use that, and spent much time reuniting with family. Little kids I hadn't seen in a long time. Now they're mothers and fathers and graduates, and just reconnecting and praying with multitudes of people. And so turning that very painful, sad occasion into lemonade, into joy. I just was so honored to get the call from Bremerton to be here, because the sermon means so much to me. Because I just experienced that, and I'm sure you all have experienced that. So I want to sing this song, and it's called You, like you, right? After doing all that, I always go, what? But Tatiana Monet is a young 20-something-year-old, and she sings this song, Like You, And it ministers into so many people, not just young people, young and old. And I had a niece who was feeling deep, dark depression. And she said, listening to this and praying helped me get out of that dark place, Auntie. And I looked at this sermon and I knew that it's something that needs to be shared far and wide. So I hope you enjoy it. Like you.
Tatiana.
Monet.
Tatiana Monet.
You gotta get up. You gotta get up and make a move. 'Cause the world won't never see you till you do. No, they don't really care what you're going through. But you got to show them. You gotta show the real you. You gotta give them what you got. Don't let them see what you're not. 'Cause you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond the 1,000 reasons why. And you aren't perfect, baby. 'Cause nobody's perfect, darling. No, 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 there's no one in the world like you. What do you say when you can't go on? What do you do when you're just not strong by yourself? And nobody's strong by themselves. But you got to show you got some resolve. You gotta trust and have faith to move on. Because there's power in knowing you're not alone. Just trust and pray and obey. 'Cause there's no other way. You gotta fight on through your prayer. 'Cause there will be problems, but you're not defined by them. And God will send people to help redesign you. Problems will find you, but they won't define you. And God will send people to help redesign you. You are a work of art. Bet you didn't think you'd come this far, but here you are. 'Cause you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, sister. 'Cause nobody's perfect, brother. No, 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 there's nobody in this world like you. Perfect brother, there's nobody have to deal with life. Oh no.
That was awesome. And now, Mr. Larry Davis.
Cindy, is it okay if I work from this one?
We'll have to talk to Mark about
Is
that.
it okay if I work from this one? Cool. It is such a pleasure to be back home again with friends and family. It is an honor. It is truly an honor. Today's presentation will highlight it's the sugar. I'm getting a message from my partner. What would you like me to do?
You're a little
the mic
taller.
a little bit?
Yeah, you're tall.
Some of us.
All right.
That was
That brings up a really fascinating point. My heart's going to break when I think about this. It's going to be awesome. There were so many Sundays where I was the sound guy. And my love was doing the presentation and doing the message and doing this. And I was upstairs and I was pointing, thinking maybe she would see me. The table is turned, thank you so much. That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
She's your sugar.
She is, in many ways. So the sugar, and I'll start you with this as something we could begin with, and then we'll tell stories and go from there. Sugar, it's the sugar. It's not the lemon that truly makes the lemonade, it's the sugar. It's the life's sweetness. And the sugar I'm referring to is simple S-U-G-A-R, as in S, as in stillness, silence. Your song was perfect. And as well as the message today Marilyn read about being in a place of silence. The U is talking about understanding. When you're in that place of silence, going to a place of understanding, allowing truth. These are not my words. Allowing God's truth to speak through us. G, as in sugar, but G as in gratitude. Life is sweet. It's that place where we could just take it in, the sweetness and gratitude. And then we happen to have the opportunity through the A in sugar, action, to move forward and really do that and do our very best, knowing we're doing our very best. And R in sugar is reflection, another opportunity to just step back and reflect. And today's presentation will highlight that. So how did I get into this mess in the first place? Okay. So Cindy had communicated with us, and immediately I turned to Carmel, and it's so simple. Hey, hon, what do you think? Larry, what are you doing? And it's always like that. Larry, what are you doing? And I go, no, this is fabulous. This is an opportunity. This is extraordinary. This is really extraordinary. So we say yes, and we let life move on. Okay? So fast forward, it happens to be like in July, just about 3 weeks ago. We happen to be, and this is a blessing, we happen to be in Paris. And when you say that to people, you go, we were in Paris. How could you have a bad day in Paris? How could there even be a lemon in Paris? It's not possible. Well, the story goes like this. It's a funny one. We landed in Paris, and I had still no idea what we were going to do in Paris, and I had no idea what we were going to do today in this conversation with us all. And we landed in Paris, and we get to the hotel, and we knew that something was up. Because the people behind the counter were looking at us and thinking, ooh, and since we didn't speak French, we did speak the human condition. The body language said, we didn't expect you. And so I kind of all of a sudden turned into Larry the travel agent, and I'm waiting and watching what goes on. And lo and behold, they do their little dance and they say, Monsieur, we have a room for you. And when I heard that, I went, this is not good. So instead of going to, one of those little elevators that are just like really tight, he takes us through a back door. And And there happens to be a little patio, and it's the smoker's patio. And I'm thinking, this is not good. And in my head, not heart, in my head I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to step into this. I'm gonna have to do the Larry thing. And I'm thinking also, this is gonna be like a broom closet. Well, the manifestation of life, he opens the door and it was industrial lighting like this, so no matter what it was, it could have been a suite at one of the finest hotels, but because of the lighting, everything looks really bad. But there and behold, the manifestation is true. It was a frickin' closet. There were 25 TV sets ready to go for the rest of the hotel, packed into this little room. And I'm saying one thing, no way. And I turn behind me and I see Carmel sort of laughing, thinking this is absolutely funny. And I'm going into, again, what we call Larry mode. And I start dealing with the whole thing, and we start talking English, and he's French. We're going back and forth. He shows us a room upstairs, and it was absolutely unacceptable. And I'm thinking, this is not the way it was supposed to be. So we are just kind of just having to just let it go. I come back down, and Carmel's already knowing that this is going to be magic, this is going to be amazing. I hadn't made that transition yet. We go back into the room, and the one thing I do is I turn off the industrial lights, and I turn on the ambient lights, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is a whole new place. This is amazing. And then all of a sudden I notice the room. This is like larger than any room in all of Paris. In fact, it's the handicapped room.
Yes.
And it's a room that was just built and designed like within the last month. It was all new. And like any hotel room in Paris, you expect the shower to be the size basically of the piano right here. And though, because it was the handicapped disabled room, the shower was huge. It was 3 times the size of any shower bathroom in all of Paris. And all of a sudden I'm sitting in this truth and going, this is a gift. And Carmel's laughing the whole time, thinking, I just needed to let you just do your thing. And that's how this presentation came. It was shifting from lemon to lemonade, but it's not the lemon, it really is the sweetness, the sugar. And we talked about it for a few days, and if the coin toss went another way, she'd be the one doing this presentation today. But I am the winner of today's coin toss. So
And you are a winner.
but it is really, it's a matter of, it's perspective. And that perspective, it goes deep in terms of how we find ourselves in that little funny place where we're going, oh my gosh, life is just throwing us lemons. But what do we do about it really is within our control in that regards. So I wanted to share a few things that are insights beyond me.
Choose them.
That are related to just when life throws you lemons. Some people know this name, Louise Hay. We have probably a few of her books somewhere here in the library. She says, it's not what happens to you, but how you handle it. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. If the lemons are rotten, take out the seeds, plant them in order to grow new lemons. Brilliant. Many people might know Napoleon Hill, another name in the New Thought world. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade and sell it to all those who get thirsty from complaining. Now, in terms of forward thinking, I love this one. This is from someone, Ziad Applenua, and I'm not for sure who he is or she, but brilliant. When life gives you lemons, order the lobster tail. And then Grace Helbig says, When life gives you lemons, you exchange them at the store for something more edible. Pretty pragmatic in that regards. In this whole conversation, when we look at those people who really transition from lemon to lemonade, a number of stories always come about. For example, Thomas Edison seems to always come up in these conversations. When he was in elementary school, he was always told that he was too stupid to learn anything. And in fact, as an inventor, he made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. And when a reporter asked him, how did it feel to fail 1,000 times, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. Brilliant. Another well-known failure, Winston Churchill. Churchill failed 6th grade. He was subsequently defeated in every election for public office until he became prime minister at 62. He later wrote, never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 never in nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never give up. And that's kind of what it's about. So what does get in the way? In my Bremerton side of my life, Monday through Friday, I happen to be a behavior specialist for the school district here, and it's a blessing, a true blessing. I have an opportunity to experience the human condition each and every day through the students and the teachers that are really struggling. My work in particular, though the teachers don't know that, they think I'm there to fix the kids, is more so to help the teachers and the staff to really work on themselves, because it's how we see the gifts that unfold through these children that make the difference. And it's really about the sugar, stillness, stepping in silence, because kids are going to do crazy things. It's just the nature of the beast. Understanding, looking at ourselves for a moment and saying, okay, what am I learning here? What's the lesson? And then also understanding the human condition as expressed from the children. What are they needing? What are they expressing in that moment? In terms of the G, gratitude. Sure, it's challenging and it's difficult when you're working with children, or as a parent when you have your own kids. It's challenging. It's life in the human condition presents itself each and every moment, but there are moments of gratitude that we could step into, and then action. We could step forward, and then we could reflect in that way. What happens is, and this is the thing that's really kind of simple, is that we all have this part of our brain. It's the amygdala. It's the size of an almond. And what that does, it's there to protect us. It's the fight, flight, freeze phenomena. When we are getting information in, it's always on guard saying, yikes, this is not good. This is not safe. So we move to that default. It just that happens to be, we have learned, especially as stress becomes more and more prevalent in our lives, we typically go to default quicker, faster. And in the life that we live today, 21st century, if you turn on the news, if you open up the newspaper, if you just listen to anything on Facebook, it's an amazingly horrible experience called life. And of course, you're going to go to default. And so what we need to do is train ourselves to try something completely different. Take control of our lives. And the means to do so is through the sweetness called love. One of the great teachers, by example, passed last week, John McCain. And for those of you who are, I look in the crowd, are our age, there aren't that many role models or heroes, people who have lived an extraordinary life that we could look at, even though the politics we could put off to the side, but stepping into that truth, John McCain was one of those people, and possibly one of the last that we will experience in our lifetime. His daughter said the following, going to find that right here. She says, "Today I want to share with you where I found out who John McCain truly was. And it wasn't in the Hanoi Hilton. It wasn't in the cockpit of a fast and lethal fighter jet or on the campaign trail. John McCain was in all those places, but the best of him was somewhere else. The best of John McCain, the greatest of his titles, and the most important of his roles was as a father." And she closes us out, this little particular part of the eulogy. She says, and this is that life is sweet, the sugar. John McCain was not defined by prison, by the Navy, by the Senate, by the Republican Party, or by any single one of the deeds in his absolutely extraordinary life. John McCain was defined by love. Love. And you shared that earlier. And Marilyn shared that in the message today. The sweetness of life is in God's love, which is an expression each one of us presents. It's just that little almond-sized piece of our brain, the amygdala, when it all of a sudden gets information, it triggers to default. And we all of a sudden go to stimulus, and we go to a place of expression, and that expression is fight, flight, freeze. We often say things, "Oh my God," and you go crazy, you get nervous, you get upset, and then before you know it, we might even regret what we had said to a loved one, to those that we care about, and the cycle continues. But we could take control of that. We could take control of that cycle by stepping into sugar, silence, solitude, understanding, gratitude, action, and then move into reflection in that regards. One of our favorite songs over the course of the summer when we were doing some amazing travels, Carmel and I, we were listening to what's called the No Shoes Radio. Anybody familiar with that? No Shoes Radio. It's Kenny Chesney's radio station, country singer Kenny Chesney. And his big song this summer was Get Along. And he says, this is fabulous. He goes, "To get along on down the road, we've got a long, long way to go. Sometimes we're scared to live, sometimes we're scared to die, but we ain't perfect, but we try." And then his message is, get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Always give love the upper hand. And that takes effort. To take default, fight, flight, freeze, and push that aside, and move into a place where we go silent. We go to a place of understanding. And most importantly, we go to a place of gratitude. And then we move forward. Since this is family, I could stand here and go, there are some people who in a relatively short period of time, they have stepped into this, that sweetness. For example, I said to you earlier, but I will say this publicly, Nora. Nora is a person that when I first came to the Unity Church 8 years ago, you had this within you. You had this thing within you called God's will, but you knew you were going to be that person. But Nora being the president or the vice president, or Nora being the chaplain, the prayer chaplain, it didn't seem like it was you, but you stepped into it. And now I'm sitting there in just complete gratitude going, Nora is funny as hell. Yeah. Short people. Which this is wonderful because compared to Carmel, I'm a short person. Thank you. But I wanted to say that, and we all have those Nora moments where we step into the truth. Thank you, though. I'm so impressed with that. In 2010, when I started being a member of the Unity Church in Bremerton, I was a different person than who I am today. And at that time, I was writing a book, and the book was Love, Understanding, and Other Best Practices. And this book at that time defined a place where I was heading. Not maybe so much where I was living, but where I was heading. And the issue of love and understanding, the sugar, the sweetness of life. But I want to share a story because this is an amazing one. Life throws you lemons, but it's what you do with it that makes the difference. And we'll conclude on this story, and then I'll pass it on to my partner. Okay? This is about a student that I happened to have met when I was a principal many years ago. And the message here is, this is a young man who truly, truly went from lemons to lemonade. A few years ago, I ran into Lucas at the local supermarket after a long spell without seeing one another. When you live in a small town like I do, especially if you were a former elementary principal, you take notice of kids as they grow up through the years. What caught my attention the most was that standing before me in the frozen food section was a living example of a true role model, a hero. I heard through the grapevine that Lucas performed two tours of duty in Iraq and returned home uncertain of a third deployment in Iraq, applying for college or a different path altogether. All I knew was that the young man I was talking to demonstrated an extraordinary level of self-confidence way beyond his years. Years ago, when I first met Lucas, he was a regular in the principal's office. He was one of those kids who spent endless hours under my supervision, for he was always in trouble of some kind. Lucas had ADHD and dyslexia, a double dose of learning disability. As a sixth grader, he was constantly aggravated by the fact that he could not read. As he progressed through the school system without support, the challenges of reading increased, and so did his frustration. He was a teacher's nightmare. He was not only intelligent, but it was also confrontational and unwilling to put up with anything that seemed unfair or unjust. If he didn't like something or didn't want to do the activity, he would speak his mind. Between my office and recess, he was frequently out of the classroom. Recess was another story in itself. Since finding the gifts within and building upon strengths is at the core of true advocacy, it may have been difficult identifying Lucas's gifts and blessings within the typical school setting. He was simply unsuccessful in the regular classroom. In looking back, it was at recess where we started to see and discover his true calling. Unlike others who got into fights for selfish purposes or bully-like tendencies, Lucas was the recess guardian, protecting the less fortunate, tormented, or easily picked on kids. He was their protector. Since I was the principal, these actions at recess caught my attention. It made absolute sense that he would one day join the military and unselfishly serve and protect others to the National Guard. After Lucas left the elementary program, I am aware of some trials and pitfalls that continue to haunt him throughout his middle school. As with most ADHD students, he found that school often reflected a square peg in a round hole mismatch. For Lucas, the breadth of his school experience was all about failure. And he was on the path toward truancy and early dropout until one summer when his life truly turned around. After another school year of suspensions and failing classes, it was agreed that Lucas was better off staying with his father on a family property in another state in Oregon. As proposed, he would be able to work off his excess energy with ample acreage and forget about school for a while and then be able to move on. No one imagined that his daily swim in the local creek would lead to a major life change. Apparently, Lucas jumped head first into the creek and hit bottom, fracturing his spine. As a result, he was immediately fitted with a spinal injury device restricting all movement for 6 months, except for one, and that movement was rowing. So the story continues. He picked up rowing as a new vocation, lemons to lemonade, loved it. At the same time, his family was asking the question, what are we going to do with him? He's got to go back to school. And at that time frame, the Canadian dollar and the US dollar was such a disconnect, where anything that you bought in Canada was such a discount. His family found a school in Canada that happened to have two features. One, it was a school for the learning disabled. Two, they had one of the finest rowing programs in all of Canada. And Lucas took that lemon and turned it into lemonade, because the truth within him, God's gift, was he was to do something big and different. So he went to Canada, very successful, and he became a member of the junior Canadian rowing team. And when he graduated high school, he had a choice: continue with Canada and go into rowing, but he had this other choice within him. God spoke this other truth, the recess truth. He was a protector, a guardian. So he went into the National Guard and served in Iraq. Today, Lucas is a true role model. He is a member of the local fire department, serving his community as an emergency medical technician. His gift of service has found a remarkable outlet that back in grade school on the recess playground was a cause of suspension and discipline. In addition, also, Lucas mentors local athletes as the head coach of the junior rowing club. Clearly, he's giving back to a sport which in many ways saved his life. Who would imagine that a tragic diving accident would lend to an extraordinary path? Lemon to lemonade. And it's all about life is sweet through the sugar in that regards. We all have an opportunity to speak truth that presents itself through Nora, thank you, and Lucas, and through each one of us. And I'll just say, these words are not mine. These are God's words, and I'm being told it's time to pass the torch. Carmel.
There are no accidents.
Taller.
Creepy.
Thank you, Larry. That was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for sharing your stories. Touched my heart. So now is a time of meditation. So we're going to practice that first one, going into the silence. And that's probably the most beneficial practice out of the sugar implements that you can do besides gratitude, is the daily practice of meditation. It prepares you for those moments when you choose to respond instead of react from that little almond in the back of your mind. So I'd like to take you to that place. So if you join me by possibly putting your feet flat on the floor and moving your shoulders around and just allowing your body to relax and your hands sit comfortably on your lap. And now I invite you to take a deep breath in, allowing it to fill your lungs completely. And as you release that breath, allow your shoulders to relax a little bit more. Breathe in deeply again and relax. I invite you to take 4-count breath, and as you do, imagine a line going up, vertical. And then you're going to hold that breath for 4 counts and imagine a line going across, horizontal. And then when you release the breath, 4 counts, imagine a line going down, vertical. And then you're going to breathe out imagine a line going horizontal. This is a practice of block breathing. It's a practice that you can do at any time when you're feeling a little out of sorts. It immediately puts you back into a space of heart. So I will walk you through it. Breathe in 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Breathe out for 4 counts. Rest for 4 counts. Continue to do that as you imagine a box in your mind's eye in front of you. Continue to breathe and relax. And now I invite you to visualize a heart in the center of that square. Continue to breathe. Now visualize the corners of the box softening. See them rounding. Continue to breathe. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out, rest. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out, rest. Allow that square to have those edges rounded so much it becomes a heart inside a circle. Continue to visualize that heart inside that circle. Imagine it being your heart. Feel it growing. Feel it expanding. And now I invite you to bring something into that heart space that fills you with gratitude. It could be the face of a loved one. It could be a beautiful flower. It could be your favorite little puppy's face. Bring that feeling of gratitude to that heart space. A little sugar. Feel it expanding. Feel it expanding in the warmth of your own personal heart. Feel that warmth in your chest. Feel it building. See it building like the sunlight in the sky. Bright, warm, radiating. And now feel it expanding beyond the circle. Just feel it as bright as it possibly can be. Breathe in deeply again to 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Breathe out for 4 counts. Rest for 4 counts. Now in that heart space, I'd like you to listen to these words from the Dalai Lama. Settle them into that space within your heart. Every day, think as you wake up. Today, I am fortunate to be alive. I have a precious human life. I am not going to waste it. I am going to use all my energies to develop myself, to expand my heart out to others. I am not going to get angry or think badly about others. I am a benefit to others as much as I am and I can. Feel those words expand beyond that heart space. You are the light of the world. Take your sugar and shine. Be happy. Be grateful. Be awesome. And shine your light brightly. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. You are the light of the world. Bring that light back into the room and expand it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful meditation and amazing, amazing message. I'd like to do a song by Amy Grant called Better Than a Hallelujah. And it talks about how God looks at our pain as sugar. What our lives are as sugar to him. Even when the world contrasted, saying no, it couldn't possibly be. But everything that you are is like love and sugar to God. God loves a lullaby in the dead of night when the mothers cry, better than a hallelujah sometimes. God loves a drunkard's cry, a soldier's plea not to let him die, are better than a hallelujah sometimes. We pour out our misery, God just hears the melody. Beautiful the mess we are, honest cries of a breaking heart are better than a hallelujah. Holding on for life, a dying man giving up the fight, are better than a hallelujah sometimes. The tears of shame for what's been done, silence when the words won't come, are better than a hallelujah sometimes. We pour out our misery, God just hears a melody. Beautiful the mess we are, honest cries of a breaking heart are better than the hallelujah, better than the church bells ringing, better than the choir singing out. Singing out, we pour out our misery, God just hears a melody. Better than the hallelujah sometimes. You're better than the hallelujah. Better than the hallelujah sometimes. Your life is better than the hallelujah. You're better than the hallelujah sometimes. God bless you.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you for the beautiful meditation, that wonderful talk. Oh, I don't know about you, I'm feeling pretty good right about now. All right, so as you're preparing your tithes and love offerings today, think about how blessed you are. And as you are writing your check or giving your gift, send your blessings out. And after the collection, please feel free to come up, light a candle, or burn a paper.
Please light candles if you do. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful that I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I
All right, and together. I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude. Thank you. All right, and the first Sunday of the month is Birthday Sunday. So who has September birthdays? Yeah! Well, look at all of that.
My
Look at these
Bongo
September
teammates.
babies.
Good luck.
Wowza, wowza. All right, well, I mean, with this many, how can you not sing happy birthday? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Second verse.
Second verse. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you. Are wonderful. God is blessing you now. Yay. Isn't it nice to have somebody who just play on the spot? I mean, wow. Thank you very much. Thank you. And of course, there's birthday cake. I believe we have angel food cake with fresh strawberries. And of course, locally grown strawberries, I would imagine. So there you go. All righty. So good news.
We got children.
We have children. Well, they come later. That's some good news. So we will welcome them in just a little bit. I want to start with some good news that I wanted to share. Unity Community Outreach a few months ago provided some documents and some stuff that through the chaplain program we've been looking at and sharing. And I had the opportunity to share it recently, but first I wanted to show you folks. We have these little packages, and they are they're called You Are Never Alone, and it's inspiration for your healing journey. So we've had people in our group that have been touched by themselves or by others with a cancer experience. These booklets provide the Never Alone booklet, Facing Cancer with Faith. There's a Healing Thoughts booklet, a prayer and resource card, and Daily Word magazine. The information in here is absolutely beautiful, wonderful reading. And I had the opportunity to share one of these packages recently. I've been collecting a minute little bit of unemployment between school and my new job. And the guy that I had to meet with to continue that little stipend, while I was there, he got word that his wife was diagnosed with leukemia. And I happened to have a couple of these in the car. And so after we did our thing, that was a requirement of the government to do what you need to do. I brought this in. I said, no pressure. I just, I've seen the materials, and it's really, really good, uplifting, wonderful, positive stories. And I just said, I hope you find this helpful. And then separately, there's a spiritual support for caregivers, those who love them. So this is also something for those that are going through this, because as we know, firsthand, we've had some people here, and you may know people in your lives that are touched by this that could use some added support. So we do have plenty of these. If you're interested in sharing them, please let us know. A board member can provide you with that, but it's just beautiful stuff. It's from Unity, so it's wonderful. So I wanted to share that with everybody.
It's geared for more than just cancer, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Healing Thoughts booklet can just be an everyday kind of thing, but the Never Alone, Facing Cancer with Faith, it is very specific to that part. But the rest of it could be for anybody. And for caregivers, you've got people that are doing all kinds of stuff and often, keep doing and doing and doing, and it could be exhausting. And then I wanted to mention, I didn't know Larry's background and what he does for Bremerton School District, but as many of you know, Mark and I were raising our grandson for 3 years that's ADHD and high-functioning autistic, and the lessons and whatnot we learned through Central Kids of School District. One of the organizations I discovered was CHADD, C-H-A-D-D. And Larry is going to be speaking there September 11th. So he's going to be speaking there. It's a nationwide organization that helps and provides support and information to people who work with children with a variety of different challenges, like he touched on dyslexia and ADHD and sensory processing disorder and whatnot. So he'll be out there public speaking as well. So I thought that was really kind of neat that he's everywhere. So thank you for your good work, because we know firsthand how important that is and how misunderstood these kiddos are, and they need all the love and support they can get wherever they can get it. So thank you for that. All right, anybody else with some good news? Somebody.
My apartment's almost all put together.
Yes, Nora is moved from the old house out of the storage unit into her new apartment and getting settled. It's a beautiful
That
thing.
means I can rest like the doctor told me to.
Yeah. Now you'll have time to rest. That's a good thing. And Millie, did you want to share a little bit about your workshop?
Yeah.
Come on up.
Oh, okay. I have some flyers here, and very much of what Larry touched on today around the fight or flight, the little key there. And so some things that'll be able to be some experiences and tools that you'll be able to have in those times that are more challenging to help shift to that vibration of sugar. So for stress, for pain, for different things to be able to help be present in the moment versus scattered where you just were or where you're going next. Some different things like that. So it'll just be a couple hours of fun, experience, and education to help yourself and feel more self-empowered and more conscious in different ways than perhaps you have been now, and more home in your own body. So I hope you can come join. There'll be, because there'll be quite a few other people, new people coming to Unity, so I'm happy to be able to have it here and hope to see a lot of you there.
All right, any other good news? All right, well, I think we're going to welcome our kiddo in today.
Melody and I talked about, she's starting school on Wednesday, and she was a skosh nervous about starting a brand new school. So we talked about some tools to put in our toolbox, and we came in here and listened to Larry's wonderful presentation, which we knew that she doesn't have lemons, she has the sugar to deal with it, right? So we drew our hands, and we came up with something she could ask. She could be the person to welcome the other kids, because they're all new at this school in her grade. Do you want to say something?
I wrote down things you could start conversations.
Like, you gotta talk into there. I know. See, Grandma's trying to get
Yeah, Marilyn needs that mic up there.
Yeah.
I wrote down ways that you can start conversations with questions. Like, what is your name? Or do you like to draw? What do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah,
Things like that. She's ready for school.
There you go. Good conversation starters. Excellent. All right, so let's do our children's blessing. Everybody get those hands warmed up. All right. Yeah. Oh, she has a tail. There, whip that tail. There you go. All right. Melody. We love you. We bless you. And we appreciate you just the way you are. All right, and just a gentle reminder, Marilyn is our chaplain of the day, so if you need any affirmative prayer support or anything you'd like to have her guidance with there, she'll be available. And let's sing our peace song.
Yeah, I wonder what the mascot is. Is it something with a bushy tail? Oh,